Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blumira Managed, turning case alerts into resolutions while you sleep. Very excited to talk to you about our step forward in how we're making SecOps from manageable to managed today. With that, we will get into our agenda. So we're going to run through introductions on who the heck you're looking at up here. We're going to talk a little bit about, that makes me think of the Drew Carey show intro why Blumira has taken the tack of building out from what works and what that looks like. We're going to talk about what response means in the context of Blumira Managed today. And tell you a little bit more about the team that's got your back. Hopefully, some of the folks that are joining today are current customers who are familiar with the level of service that our team provides. But also, I imagine that some of you may be new or still considering Blumira. So we'll talk a little bit about how we approach our customer service, whether it is in a incident response or in a standard support request, as well as give a little bit of a talk through of a actual incident that we helped respond to. So I am Zoe Lindsey here on the marketing team at Blumira. I'm just giggling at the chat as we go. Very excited. There's been a series of releases this year that each of them I just get a little bit more hype about. So this is another in that series. I'm very excited to talk through this today. And Amanda, you're in the middle here. So say hi, tell everybody what you do.
Hello. I am the Senior Product Manager of Cybersecurity. I always appreciate it when Zoe puts my title on here because I always forget it. But yeah, I'm here for all your product needs, including managed, which is where we're talking about today. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. And Nick?
Hey everyone, Nick here, the Security Operations and Support Manager. I'm the manager of the teams that you chat with when something goes awry. So if you've ever opened a ticket with us, that's my team helping you out. So happy to be here.
Awesome. So we've got a fair representation among our team, and we'll talk a little bit more about why Amanda and our previous release has been such an important component in being able to move to a managed offering. So just a little bit, of how we approach moving through and building out from what works. This is true of the platform at large. Blumira started with solving the visibility problem with a vendor agnostic SIM solution that allows you to bring in visibility across your whole workspace. The next step after that made sense is once you know what's going on, you need to be able to do something about it. So we added additional capabilities for response in dashboard as well as guidance so that even junior team members can handle most incidents and know what to do next. From there, we wanted to try and focus the signal and get more information so that responders are able to make a more informed decision faster, which is what we introduced SOC Autofocus to do. And then following SOC autofocus, we recognized that there was still, even if it is clear signal, every benign finding that shows up in the inbox reduces the likelihood that folks are going to go back and check that the next time when it may be important that next time. So we then introduced Kindling to do that kind of first level correlation. And rather than ringing the bell every time that there's a new event, instead, we are alerting you to validated cases. That way, when you get that alert, you know that it's something that merits your time and getting into. So we started with SecOps Made Manageable. We moved to more manageable than ever with Kindling, and actually that applied to us as well as to our customers. We were able to focus the visibility and make sure that we were getting only the clear signal that mattered from Kindling so much that we were able to take another step forward towards something that customers have been asking us about for quite a while. We are able to reduce the workload by about 90% with Kindling, but there's teams that are still overloaded, overworked, and don't have time even for that 10% remaining, or just need to have somebody that can answer the phone, be the first on the scene when those things happen during off hours. And so now that's what Blumira Managed is. I will start with the headline. A lot of folks that are looking at a MDR or a managed service offering, they want to know who's picking up the phone first and how fast. And so I will lead with letting you know the same team that has a under half hour average response time for all support requests, and a average, I think last I heard, was 18-minute response time during critical incidents when contacted. On our managed side, we are committing to 30 minutes until first initial response, correct, Nick? Initial outreach back to you, and that we are on the case, or rather the initial view of the case and getting towards that response. My apologies. So I know that's kind of like the headline question that a lot of folks are going to ask. But then I also want to talk about, we pride ourselves on providing complete context and on being transparent, making data as digestible as possible. And that carries through to the way that we approached offering a managed service. So if you want to know, this is how we do it. I don't think we have licensing to use the song, so I won't sing it. But this is how we approached our managed offering. One, just like with every other part of the platform, we're going to show you our work. You don't have to worry about a black box when you're dealing with Blumira, whether that is on the platform side or on the service side. Every case that you get has a complete record. We provide the detection logic, why the decision was made, what action was taken, along with the workflow and recommendations on typically what you want to do next. All of that carries through from the platform. There's no surprises. Our detection rules are readable. You are able to take a look at that logic yourself. We aren't going to hide that away as proprietary. We want you to understand what the logic and reasoning is that's going into every response, and provide that in a record that you're going to be able to share with your leadership, with your assessor, with your insurance provider, to make sure that you have everything that you need to answer any questions that arise after that incident. We also have customers that moved to us from a previous MDR solution because they, in trying to get additional support, it also meant giving up some level of visibility or control in their own environment. That's never a situation that we want to put our customers in. So you still retain that visibility. There's nothing stopping you from still going into the platform, taking a look at current or historical findings. You're still able to go in and run your own reporting. What's different is we are working even more closely as an extension of your team in those scenarios for first response. We also differ from a lot of kind of primary MDR providers in that we capture the whole picture. A lot of MDR providers are more solely focused on endpoint response, identity response, or maybe the combination of the two. And typically there's going to be more limited visibility outside of those core services where response is provided. We are a SIM first platform. We understand that you can't defend what you can't see. And so we make sure that you are still getting that full workspace visibility. That full context is going into the auto triage and analysis that Kindling does to correlate and validate cases and escalate to our team when necessary. We continue to provide identity first coverage through our ITDR that's available on all editions. This is where an overwhelming majority of attacks either start or very quickly move to. And you're going to be getting one vendor and one console, right? We're going to do a simple addendum to your existing contract. And rather than having to deal with a bunch of a la carte pricing, you're still going to get the same predictable priced platform that doesn't upcharge you based on the number of integrations, the amount of data that you ingest. You're going to be able to get that same package value and just add on the additional 24/7 service that you need. And we want to make sure that you know what you're buying and when we intervene. So that starts with our responsibility matrix is published and available. We'll include links to that in our follow-up email that'll come out tomorrow. We tell you right up front where we act and where we don't. In addition to that, as part of onboarding, we'll go through the slate of response options and review with you so that you get to prove where you do and don't want us to intervene. And our SLA is documented and measurable. So speaking of what we do and don't do, Amanda.
Yeah, and I loved how you phrased it too, because like the whole one of the main tenets we built ourselves on is just that visibility, right? And being able to see everything when you are an MDR was one of, when we were building this program, like one of the top things that I would have wanted. Having worked for other MDRs and worked with other MDRs, it was kind of really high on our list to not just make another substandard MDR out there. Definitely one of the core tenets. And then Nick will cover some of the other ones that we focused on a little bit later. So here's the difference between what we do and what you do. We do have a full responsibility matrix that we can share for anybody interested in coming on as an MDR customer. But this is kind of the TLDR version. So there's a lot of things that we can do with our response actions in the platform right now, along with our endpoint agents. So we can disable, revoke, block sign-ins, but we won't do anything that is irreversible. We definitely will leave any configuration changes and additions of like conditional access and that kind of stuff to you and your team. We will recommend things, and it will be in the full write-up of any incident that you possibly have, but it's not something that we will just take upon ourselves to be like, yeah, we need, this is how your environment should be set up, because no one knows your environment better than you. I don't care what MDR provider's out there that says we're just another, person on your team. That's true to a certain point, right? We can help you as much as possible, but we don't want to mess up anything that you have. If you have your own MSP, or you have your own reasons why you have an environment set up a certain way. I've been in legacy environments before, and you just have to sometimes, right? So we definitely want to lay out right away what we will do and what we won't do. That's why we have the full list of catalog, right? So we also have our on-prem agent, so we can isolate, we can kill processes. We can do that for anything with our agent on it. Even if it doesn't have our agent on it, we can still inform, right? So if it gets to the point where our hands are tied, that happens all the time with incidents, you can work with us, we're not just going to hand you over a piece of paper and be like, I don't know, good luck with your incident, go forth. And Nick will talk a little bit more about the way we handle that stuff. But there's definitely a clear line you want to draw when you sign up for a program like this, right? Whether it's ours or not. And then we have the other things on here like firewall, other EDRs, other cloud infrastructure, where we will recommend, we will inform, we will tell you everything that we've seen from all the logs that you've given us, and what those next steps need to look like, even future steps. We can go to the next one. And we want to set you up for success. We want to set us up for success. We want it to be the best potential outcome for you and your customers and your users and everybody else. So we have a pretty well set and predefined 5-step process that we're going to walk you through to onboarding, right? We're going to verify that what your environment looks like, that your agents are set up, that we have all the logs that we need, that we have all the people that we need to contact, that we have the right ticketing system set up. All of that kind of stuff we're going to verify during onboarding. We also have a response scope for who's authorized to do what. And we're going to walk you through it, right? We're going to do a, what if scenario and kind of walk through, not necessarily like a drill or a tabletop, but a little bit, in which we'll trigger something, we will escalate it to our MDR service, we will make sure it triggers and goes to the right call or goes to the right ticketing system that you want, whatever that should look like, so that you can finish this onboarding knowing that you're going to be fine the next time something happens. And as soon as those are all done, that SLA clock for 30 minutes will end up starting.
I need to grab my glasses. I keep losing the cursor.
No, it's all right. Things that we definitely won't do, also included in the catalog. So non-reversible things. So deleting files, wiping disks, architectural changes, other third-party EDRs. We're not going to replace your IR firm. I always thought it was, being at Blumira since the beginning, I always thought it's been interesting, the level of support that we've provided and the level of IR support we've provided as a SaaS company. Sometimes people feel it's enough to replace their IR firm. It probably shouldn't, because you definitely, a lot of times, if you don't have IR on staff, you need somebody to come and do that cleanup. And then also, never give you up, never let you down, never run around and desert you.
It's just important to say, I think.
One of my favorite internet jokes.
It's true.
Right. Yeah. And then, so we have these two different models right now. So if you are a Blumira customer now, I'm sure at some point you've had some kind of experience with our SecOps support. Right now, it's all reactive, right? You reach out to us, like Zoe said, like we have that really, really short time to value when it comes to contacting our SecOps support. What was it, 19 minutes? Is that right?
18 was last that I
18,
got. Yeah.
18 minutes. They've talked about how, I mean, our CSAT scores at one point were 100%, and nobody believed that. So we were kind of glad when it went to like 99.93 or something. So that way it was a little bit more believable. But we go through that whole step-by-step process that our SecOps goes through. And, we have a security analyst on every single situation. If we end up declaring an incident, working with you, we'll loop in the rest of our security team. So we have detection engineers. There's lots. I mean, I'm not a detection engineer anymore, but I was for 7 years. So like I'll join in sometimes. Like we have a lot of people with a lot of security experience that will help when incidents arise. We do that full investigation, and then we present information and recommendations. We have full incident reports, and then also if there's any raw logs that we need to export, if an IR team needs it in some of their software, or if you need it for documentation purposes later, or whatever. Like we provide all of that right now with our current packages as customers. And then the difference is, next slide, when we go on to managed, this is less reactive, right? And it's all proactive. So we have Kindling now that's going to surface and correlate those findings and turn them into cases. No one is going to have to do that work up front. It is alerting us right then and there within, seconds, minutes that something has happened. We have our analysis validate those findings. You have true eyes on glass. And then, it's the same level of support that you've been getting this entire time, right? They look at that scope, they look into your environment, they run the playbook, or if they need to reach out and isolate a host or disable a user, like all of that is done right away as soon as they deem it necessary, along with those playbooks. And then you get all that communication. So you aren't woken up in the middle of the night unless you want to be, and you have all of the information at your fingertips for resolving that, that your first, you come in at 9 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And then, the same kind of stuff that we do right now, which is that incident report, raw logs, and any other communication that you need for your IR partner.
And you touched on something there that I think is important to know about sort of the DNA of Blumira, is that we're a team that is building a platform and now rolling out a service made by folks that have been consumers of other platforms and have used other services. So in the same way, I think that like you probably don't want to trust a chef who only eats at McDonald's. Like we, put our money where our mouth is and tried to. Blumira literally started as building the solution that the team couldn't find on the market that actually fit the businesses that they were supporting while at an MSP. And so I think that putting ourselves in our customers' shoes is just kind of a natural fit. It's a natural impulse for us because that's the world that we
Yeah.
come from.
And I've dealt with the black box solutions then too, right? Like same idea. Like we wanted to build something that we would have wanted to use. And I wanted us to build an MDR solution that I wouldn't have been, you know, too mean about.
And we actually got our first question here. So, if a customer already subscribes to a different MDR service, would this present conflicts with those teams where the customer should choose one MDR service, or would it be, something that would add value as a complement to their other tools or to their other subscriptions?
That's a great question. I would have to see kind of what that other MDR service does. Maybe we could get on a call or something and kind of talk through what that might look like. I can definitely think of situations in which they could be complementary, but I don't want to tell you that it would be without knowing more, because I don't want to give you a false sense of, yes, this would solve for X. But I could think of a couple different situations in which it might be able to work out.
So, Nick, talk to us a little bit about this example that you're sharing.
Yeah, and I wanted to step back and just talk about like where we started and how we got to where we are now. We had 10 years of security data. So when we built Kindling, we had all of these uh, points where we could figure out, okay, when this happens, and then this happens, something bad is going on. We were able to look at that data throughout like a decade. So that's kind of where Kindling was born. And then on top of that, like that made Manage so accurate that it just made this natural evolution of Blumira make the most sense. So this example that we dealt with 2 weeks ago now, this is a customer that is overworked. It's an MSP. They have a ton of customers, and they really value our feedback. When we pointed this out to them, and said, "Hey, here's what's going on," um, uh, they listened and we helped them isolate hosts and do cleanup after. But what happened was basically a privileged database service account, which had a ton of privileges in the network, was downloading files from the internet from a suspicious website. And the attacker actually used Windows tools. So, maybe like something like an EDR tool alone wouldn't have saw this because there's no suspicious download of like a software or like a hacking tool through a security suite, something like that. So this was all living off the land attack. Um, the privilege account disguised as binary is a strong indicator of a C2, which we saw with Kindling. Um, and then so it was automatically surfaced by Kindling, and our MDR team actually grabbed it before the customer even saw it, wrote up a list of recommendations. Customer needed more help. We helped them isolate it and contained the attack within 15-ish minutes. So really powerful stuff that we have access to now. It's really fun.
And I think that that's worth underscoring one more time here. We mentioned it a little bit ago, but that SIM-centric broad visibility across the environment is really important. There's a current stat going around that a full third of ransomware attacks in the last year involved a compromised firewall from a single vendor. And so that's not going to get picked up by ITDR or EDR. Now, there's a strong likelihood that before that attack is finished, it is going to touch identity or endpoint. But where we're seeing attack timelines drastically shrink, both as the tools improve, as there's broader use of AI, and also as the trending attack types start to shift from ransomware to more of an info stealer environment where in and out really quick and quiet is the goal. That few minutes of additional visibility can be the difference between stopping an attack in progress and identifying one after they've left the environment. So, da, 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 da. Oh, interesting. Will there be options for ad hoc support, like enabling coverage during downtime, vacations, or techs out sick, or after hours only most of the time, but 24/7 during those windows?
So it's gonna be 24/7 right out of the gate. We have around the clock security support now. So no need to tell us, hey, I'm going on vacation. I need you guys to really work these cases, isolate this host. It's gonna be 24/7. So yeah.
If that's something though that people are interested in the future, I could see us potentially adding. I did have one person ask too, like if we could do just weekends. So, Cody, I think I have to talk to you later anyways. I have to look at my calendar, but yeah, that'd be something I'd be interesting talking about, and seeing what options there were.
And being on a conversational first name basis with our customers is just the way that we like to move. Excellent. And by the way, folks, we are always taking that feedback on what you want to see more of or see us do differently. I don't know if we have a specific slide for it in this deck, but you can always hit up blumira.com/ideas, right, to submit.
Yep, or just email me.
Yeah,
No.
or just email
Yeah.
Aberlin.
Yep.
Yeah, so just going into what a great segue. The people that are supporting this MDR service behind the scenes is the team that we've built. So various skills through various orgs. You can see, large orgs. You can see related MDR org symbols there in the first section. Some come from MSPs. A lot of our customers are MSPs. I'm a huge fan of uh, people that have experience in a lot of different tools at one time, and that's MSP world. So we gravitate towards working with them at Blumira, or hiring them, I should say. And then lastly, of course, we sponsor our analysts to go to trainings, get CISSPs, degrees, things like that. So we're constantly learning as this crazy cybersecurity landscape evolves.
Right. We all got into security because we like a nice, steady industry where things are pretty stable, don't change a whole lot, low stress.
We love sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And so yeah, if you've ever worked with us, I think these things speak for themselves. But if you haven't, I wanted to include just the things that we really try and hit on. So obviously we're friendly and personable. Zoe said my favorite quote. I tell people is we are an extension of your security team. I really do feel that because we work with you like we're your coworker, not a vendor that's annoyed or doesn't want to do what we do. We love what we do, and we want to work with you. And then, yeah, customers have stated that they feel they can rely on us in these high stress situations. And MDR is by nature high stress. It's isolating hosts, it's killing processes. Some of these things are high value for your org. We don't want to do anything reckless. So, although it's high stress, some of these things need to be contained, and I think our team is well equipped to make those decisions. And then, yeah, same with fast, accurate responses. Um, Average of 1 hour response time sounds like it.
We got to update it now.
Yeah, we got to update this. But I did want to say, like, when we were planning out this whole MDR service, people looked at us crazy in the org, like 30-minute SLA. What the heck are you talking about? But that was a no-brainer for us. Like, that's easy for us. We're on top of it. And then, yeah, same with the CSAT. That's not a lie. It is at
Oh,
100%.
is it back to 100%? That's
It
great.
is now. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, like these things speak for themselves. I just had to call it out.
We really do need to have like a status page that is just our CSAT rating over time, because it is like an intermittent heartbeat that just hangs out between 99 and 100, which makes me very happy.
Yeah. And so the way that we delivered the service is something we call the SMILE method, which is just being friendly people that want to solve complex problems with our customers. So we set the tone with a positive interaction. Again, if you ever open a ticket, you know these things are true. Make sure you understand the customer situation, you guys. We don't, we like to put things in layman's terms. We have various levels of cybersecurity tech skills that we work with amongst our customers. We have, security engineers, and then we have sales engineers and sales people. So various levels of tech knowledge amongst our customer base. So we make sure you understand what we're talking about. We identify the issue, then we lead you through the problem and the solution. With MDR, we're gonna really help you with the solution, and then we end with a nice message. That's our SMILE method.
I love that, this is an industry of alphabet soup where you cannot take a step without tripping over an acronym. Smile is just like such a much rosier one than we usually see. So I am fond of that.
Yeah.
And based off of what I had to deal with before of this webinar, this is kind of what I do with my children.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that
There may
works.
be it's like wise smile with yelling in the beginning, and then
Perfect. So that brings us to the end of our update on Blumira Managed. We considered, doing a malicious exploit just so that we could have a live demo of how we'd respond to it. But we figured, it was helpful to show, even before we announced and released this service, we were already getting to a point where we were able to be more proactive as a result of Kindling. At the scale of the customer base that we support, it wasn't feasible before we were able to start to narrow that to where only validated cases are coming in. It wasn't feasible for us to keep an eye on the signal across all of our customers from single events. Now we are able to do that because we're getting that clarified visibility and moving from that kind of stateless moment in time events to actually connecting the dots and putting that whole story together. And so it was kind of, hey, we are able to do this. We obviously want our customers to stay safe. So it just made good sense. It was being good security citizens to give them the heads up when we saw that. And it got us talking about what if we could do this more broadly for more folks that have been asking for us. And so that brings us to where we are today. So I'm going to open it up for any questions that folks have. If anyone joined a little bit later, I'll just recap from the top. We are going to send out a recording of today's session so that you can view it on demand, share with friends, come back and check out if there was anything you missed. But we'll give folks another minute. And in the meantime, Amanda, do you want to talk about how is our MDR service going to evolve? Is this the beginning and end of what we want to do with Managed? Certainly we aren't going to announce what we may or may not do, but as we're having those conversations, what are you thinking about? What would you like to see us do? I'll say that.
I have so many thoughts. Like, how long do you want this to go?
Yeah, right. Well, we'll give.
Yeah. So there's a couple different ways that we're going with it right now. Right now in our application, we have less response actions than I would want, and that might always be true, coming from like DFIR background. We have something in place. It's in beta right now. that will actually make that much easier and faster and more extensible for our MDR and our customers, actually, to reach out to things like Google and GCP and Duo and Sentinel-1 and CrowdStrike and you name it. And so that is on the radar, and should be out there-ish in the next couple months. So watch for releases about that. And then also talking to people about potential, just based on the responses that I've gotten, on maybe weekend coverage instead of full 24/7. But that's
And
not
we got
for
a
sure,
question
but
here.
definitely to talk about. Yeah.
And we got a question here that was one of the things that stood out to me when I was doing the research on other services available in the market. Do we have plans to add response actions for identity providers other than Microsoft? Because that is definitely a gap
Yep, definitely.
in the industry, I'll say.
Yep. Lots of them.
Yeah. So yes, I think
Yeah.
that is something that we're thinking about, talking about, and working on. But in the same way as everything else that we release, we want to make sure that we get it right. So we didn't want to just try and squeeze everything in at launch. We wanted to make sure that we're validating and building out from what works. We got a question about pricing and timing for availability. I will differentiate here and say this is available. You are able to sign up for Blumira Managed today. If you are already working with us, you can reach out to your account manager. If you are not yet talking with somebody from Blumira, we can connect you with somebody who can have that conversation with you. It is available on the direct and the partner side. So those are going to be priced differently. For partners, you'll want to reach out to your partner manager. And for direct, do you know off the top of your head, Amanda? There we
Right.
go. Pricing,
For the
yeah.
pricing, no. I don't
Shoot.
know. off the top
Okay.
of my-
If you have your, I think we do see, okay, so we can see who sent that question. And so we will follow up with you and send that along. But that is also going to depend on the size of your environment, what edition you're using, etc. So it's going to be a quick conversation regardless, but we're trying to make sure that it is as predictable as everything else that we do. I think this means that we got all of the questions. We did such a good job as we were presenting that nobody has anything left unanswered. That's the way that I interpret that. So with that, I will thank everybody for attending today. So grateful that you took some time out of your day to learn a little bit about this and to learn about something where our goal is to try and save you time. We can make the promise that we'll save you the amount of time that you took joining the webinar if you sign up for Blumira Managed. I think that's a safe commitment to make. And we will be sending out the recording. I want to thank my fellow presenters here for hopping on and talking a little bit, giving folks a peek behind the curtain of what they can expect. And I won't spill the beans, but I will say keep your eyes peeled for our upcoming newsletters and announcements, because this stone is picking up speed as we roll. You know, we've had SOC autofocus late last year. We expanded EDR and ITDR around March. We did Kindling about a month and a half ago. Managed now and HTTP ingest, right? If you missed our webinar with DNS filter last week, encourage you going and checking that out.
Yeah, also webhooks went live the other day.
That's right. We just announced that. So we are moving quick and making sure to solve the questions that folks are asking us. The way that I like to put it is, if you have an end to the sentence, Blumira would be perfect for us if they just did X. We want to hear what X is. So send an email to Amanda, drop it into blumira.com/ideas. And until next time, thanks for joining us. And until we see you again, stay safe out there.
See ya.
Bye-bye, everybody.